the Patriot, Del Wilkes, and a student of the Fabulous Moolah. Del, welcome.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it very much.
We appreciate you being here. Now, Del, can you tell us how you came to know the Fabulous Moolah?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. I still live here to this day. And after a football career at the University of South Carolina and a couple of brief stops in the NFL, I had determined that I wanted to pursue a career as a professional wrestler. And it was something I loved, something that was just a passion for me. And the school that was closest and most available to me was owned, operated, and run by Lillian. Lillian is also a native of Columbia, South Carolina, born right outside of Columbia, in a little rural area just a few miles out of Columbia. And she'd been here all her life, throughout her career, and her facility, her home, it was here. So it was what was easy, it was quick, it was affordable. It just made sense for me to approach my career at the beginning or the end of my career through Moolah. Obviously, I knew who Moolah was. I mean, anybody that ever watched professional wrestling, followed professional wrestling, knows anything about professional wrestling, knew who Moolah was. I was in her career, and without a doubt in my mind, she was the greatest lady wrestler ever, and it's still to this day. So I called her, set up a meeting with her, told her what my intentions were, the reason, and it was a facility that really geared more for the ladies. But there were some guys there that she used on a lot of her shows here locally in South Carolina. Guys that worked a lot of the shows that she ran in the Midlands of South Carolina. Guys that she would also send up to do TV for the WWF. They would go up and do TV for Vince and move the book those guys to that. So those were the guys that helped me, helped train me. But that was the beginning of my relationship with Lillian.
How directly involved was Moolah?
Well, she was very much involved. The only thing that she did do very often was get in the ring with me and my buddy that broke in with me. I mean, she would at times be in the ring and just handing out pointers and telling guys things that we needed to do.
So you didn't find it odd that Moolah did not get in the ring and train physically with you guys or the girls?
I didn't expect her to. Believe me, I was a grown man. And, I didn't expect a woman that was probably in her 60s at that time to be getting in a ring with me and taking bumps or showing me how to take bumps. I never expected that out of her. That's what those guys were for. That's what they did. That was their job. So, no, I did not find that unusual at all. Matter of fact, I thought it was probably normal.
Did you find her rate at her school to be outrageous or overpriced?
No, I had inquired into other camps or other schools, ever how you want to term them, that were comparable to that. I had inquired in some that were out of state that were more expensive than that. So I thought it was reasonable for what she was going to give us and what we were going to learn there. So no, I did not in any way, shape, or form find it to be exorbitant or unreasonable at all.
In talking with several of the women from Camp Moolah, they said that they had to pay a percentage. Did you have a similar contract?
I didn't. I looked at my situation as different. I know a lot of the ladies that went through there, maybe not all of them. I don't know each and every one of them's story, but I've talked enough, I've read enough that a lot of them lived on the facility. So they were living in houses that were built and provided by Moolah. They were using electricity that was provided by Moolah. So they were to get part of their money out or pay a percentage for that. I didn't need Moolah to provide housing for me or to provide anything for me except a ring, a building to put that ring in, and people to show me what to do. So I didn't have to pay her a percentage of anything. When I would book my own self out to work for other people, I never paid her anything. Never one time did that ever occur, was that ever brought up.
The WWE announced on March the 12th that they were going to honor the Fabulous Moolah by having the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania this year. However, by March the 15th, the title sponsor Snickers basically responded by sending out a message to the WWE to express their disappointment and basically pressure the WWE to take Moolah's name off of this Memorial Battle Royal. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's horrible. I think it's gutless. I think it's a sad case. I think it's very typical of what goes on today in society. It's amazing how bold and brave people become on social media. I guarantee you there's a lot that would never be said if everything had to be said face to face. But when you can get behind a Twitter account, a Facebook account, or any other form of social media, and you can say things that you have no clue of what you're talking about, you can call people horrific names just based on rumor and innuendo. I think it's sad. It's pathetic. But that's the world that we live in. Stuff like that goes on today with social media. It's sickening and it's pathetic. And to see that happen with a lady that should have been honored, I thought it was a great thing that the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, we heard that the participants, the ladies that now work for Vince in the WWE, I mean, we heard countless of those women talk about how proud they were to participate in that event and to honor such a legend, someone they looked up to, someone that helped inspire them, someone that they wanted to model their career after, a role model in the business. I mean, still to this day, in my opinion, the greatest name in ladies wrestling history is Logan Ellison, the Fabulous Moolah. But it turned into something like that. Once social media got a hold of it, it caught fire, and people it grew. It was like wildfire, and it just got out of control. And then a corporate sponsor puts pressure on Vince and the WWE to change it. And I find it sad and pathetic, and just how society is today, man.
We were talking the other day, and you said that everything wasn't always roses. Is there anything like that you think that you could share with us?
She was not a perfect lady. Matter of fact, there's only been one perfect person that's ever walked the face of this earth. So she was like everybody else that wants to chastise her and throw rocks at her. She was imperfect. She didn't do everything right. And a lot of times I think we lose sight of when people were raised. This is an ever-changing world. It's an ever-changing society. And things have gone on years ago that wouldn't be acceptable today. It wouldn't be looked at probably today as the thing that you would want to do. And she came along in a completely different time. She came along. Nobody had blazed a trail for her. She was the trailblazer when it came to women's professional wrestling. So a lot of this had never been done. And she was in a business that was dominated by men. And she grew up in a different time when people did things that maybe we today probably wouldn't do things that way, maybe. She did things with money that I didn't always agree on. She and I had several blow-ups and arguments over money. I never held that against her. I never held a grudge. It was just the way Moolah was brought up in the business. It was the way things were done. She didn't know any other way. That was just the way she did it. And so it may not do things that way today, but it was just the circumstances based on the time. And I've talked to a lot of the girls that worked for her and were trained by her, even the guys that helped train me. And I don't know that there was ever one of them that did not go through their relationship with Moolah that at some point in time didn't have a disagreement with her or didn't like a payout or didn't like the way things were done. But isn't that the case basically for about anybody you work for? I mean, I think in the business that is ego-driven as professional wrestling, I think we all at some point or time think that the person we're working for just doesn't understand how doggone great we are. They don't appreciate how doggone special we are. And they're not paying us according to how special we think we are. And so we're going to have disagreements with them. And typically it's over money and it's over being pushed. Things like that are being used properly, or you're taking money from me. You're taking food out of off my table that I feed my kids. I don't think that's an unusual concept. I don't think that that's something that, that's just, it happens. That's the way it is. The people that you work for, the people that or over you, the people that are responsible for trying to get you to the next level a lot of times. It just happened that way. And it happened with she and I. But I never held a grudge over it. She never held it over me. There were things I said to her that I probably could go back and change, and I regret it. But it never affected our long-term relationship. I've talked to a lot of the ladies that were trained by Moolah, that worked for Moolah, that Moolah got booked overseas in Japan, other parts of the world, and most of them at this point in time had disagreements about money, about what she kept and what they were being paid. But how you go from that and letting that morph into this was a woman that was a racist, a bigot, that also drugged women and pimped women out is just beyond my wildest imagination. It's just crazy to think that those kind of complaints that a lot of people have with any promoter they work for, but in this case, and it happened so fast. That's what's so hard to believe about this whole thing. Is in a matter of days, the WWE was going to honor this lady. And within 72 hours, it seems, the whole thing had blown up, and she was a pimp and a drug peddler. Well, I wonder if anybody ever asked Moolah what she had to go through when she was being brought up into business. I bet you she went through hell when she was going through a completely male-dominated business and trying to break in and make a name for herself. So that I think the key thing that I learned is just that, you're not going to let anybody get in the way of your dream and achieving what you want to achieve. It started out for her just like it did for me and Bambi and so many others. A dream, a small dream. It got bigger, and here come an opportunity to fulfill your dream and chase your dream, and you went after it. You wouldn't let anything get in your way. Well, we know that that's what Lillian started with, the same thing, that small dream. To be somebody in a business that she dearly loved. So, when I think of what Lillian probably went through, there was no way I could ever get discouraged and quit. I guarantee you that. I would say that including myself, probably most everybody that did have a complaint about things like that would also step back if they were honest and say, without her, I never would have achieved what we achieved. Her influence had a huge impact on us, and her giving us an opportunity, and her opening the door for us to go through the school and train and to chase our dreams. Sure, we may have had some disagreements along the way, but man, the positive I got from it far outweighed anything negative. I mean, I got to travel the world. I had a very successful career, and it all started with her. So, yeah, I could never overlook her contribution to my career, and I don't think anybody that was ever, had Moolah a part of their life could do the same. I think you have to, out of whatever disagreement you may have had, realize that we wouldn't have achieved what we achieved, and we would have never gotten where we got had it not been for her in whatever small part, big part she may have played in her.
Snickers insinuated that they believed in people who believed in empowerment and inclusion, and that's why they were disappointed at the WWE for honoring the Fabulous Moolah.
I think she did both to a high degree. Empowered, again, how many of the ladies that came through Moolah's facility, that Moolah got booked on shows all over the world, all over this country, I think that's about as empowering as you can get, in my opinion. She did what she could to help all of us, be it a man or a woman. And that's inclusion as well. I guarantee you there were white people that went through her school. There were white men, white women, there were blacks. There were straights, there were gays, that's about as inclusive as you can be if you had a dream and were willing to work hard to try to fulfill that dream. Then I think Moolah opened the door and allowed the opportunity to come in and do just that.
Is there anything that you would like more to say about the Fabulous Moolah, the current situation, and moving forward, her legacy and mark on the world of professional wrestling?
Well, I think her influence on the world of professional wrestling, it can't be denied. You can't argue that, her influence in what she did for women's wrestling. That's just it's a non-argumented point there. You can't. She had a tremendous impact on professional wrestling. She had a tremendous impact on me, and I think many others that went through her school. I just hate that we do live in such a day and age where people can take a little bit of bad information, lies, distortion, whatever you want to call it, and run with it and explain the way it did. But she's not a perfect lady. I'm not a perfect guy. But she's someone that had a tremendous impact on me, and I'm thankful that she got to walk through my life and be a part of my career. Very thankful.